Well, it has become our culture here at the Zimbabwe Revenue Authority that every now and again we come with feedback to you. We come and talk to you, we engage with you. You tell us your concerns and we also give valuable feedback. And every time and again, if you have noticed, if you have been following our Facebook Live broadcasts, you will notice that we always have a team of expert panelists who are ready to tackle any kind of question that you might have. Hello and welcome to this live broadcast. We are the Zimbabwe Revenue Authority, ZIMRA, and this live broadcast is also live on the Star FM Zimbabwe Facebook page. Thank you very much for following us, and if you have not yet started following us, go find the follow button on your page where it writes Zimbabwe Revenue Authority and then take follow. To confirm that it is actually the actual ZIMRA page that you're following, we also have a verification blue badge, so check for that one as well. My name is Mr. Dobby. I am your father, as you know me from radio, and I will be the one facilitating this live broadcast today. Today we're going to be talking about domestic taxes, and with me here are two ladies and a gentleman who are going to walk us through this path. On my right here, I have Grace Marumbwa, who is a technical services officer, and on my left, on my immediate left, I have Marcia Musaraba, who is with the TAMS project, but she's also a technical services officer. And on my far right, the gentleman, bold like myself, is Mr. Lasta Makusha, who is with the TAMS project as well. But I will allow my panelists to say a few words of welcome to you, a few words each, before we then dive into the questions that we've collected from different domestic taxpayers. Starting with Grace.
Thank you. Good morning. Welcome, and feel free to ask any questions. This is ZIMRA. We are here to serve. Thank you.
Marcia.
Good morning, everyone. We're happy to be here, and we'll be assisting you in all ways possible together with the team. Thank you.
And finally, last.
Okay, thank you. Good morning, everyone. We hope that this discussion will be a very fruitful one, and you have a useful contribution from the general populace of Zimbabwe. Thank you.
Well, this is the team that we will be working with, talking about domestic taxes. And I want you to know that as ZIMRA, we value your feedback. Your feedback shapes our service. So right now, as we're conducting this live, feel free to share any sentiments that you might have in the comment section below. Type it out. Let's hear you, because as ZIMRA, we're here to serve. So we collected a number of questions relating to domestic taxes, and we will be reading out some of the questions here, and we'll be collecting some more as you will be typing them out in the comment section. And the first question that I have here is related to employees and pay as you earn. The question reads: I have registered 158 employees and fed in their earnings individually, and now the payee return is telling me I have no registered employees. ZIMRA, please do something to assist your clients and refrain from putting all the responsibility on our shoulders when your system is not working properly.
Okay, thank you for that question, Mr. Dobby. We have noted this issue, and it has since been resolved. And if the concerned taxpayer is still experiencing these challenges, we advise the taxpayer to provide the details with the screenshots of the error messages the taxpayer getting from the system. And also we also urge the taxpayers to adopt the templates we provided in terms. So they should not make any adjustments to the columns on the provided templates, so that they will not get any error messages from when they try to upload the payee templates. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Makusha. Thank you so much. And here is a question, I believe, typed in by someone who was getting a bit of confusion on how to best use the system. Their question says, on the employee template, which date do we put on employed from date? Year of assessment start date for 2025 being 1 January 2025, or date employee commenced employment, for example, 1 June 2021. Please advise.
All right, thank you for that question. So the start date for the year of assessment is going to be the 1st of January 2025, because this employee management module was introduced beginning 1st of January 2025. But there's also no harm in putting the employment start date from when the employee initially commenced work with that particular organization. So you can either put the initial employment date, start date, or you can put the 1st of January 2025. It will still have the same effect in the system.
So there you have it. There are no worries there on either date you put, either date of commencement of employment or 1 January 2025, where the system also commenced. Another question, Grace. Someone here says, just another issue I've picked up is that the elderly credits are not being included in the tax computation. And also, we still cannot discharge an old employee. How do they go about that?
Okay, I think this mostly has to do with terms, so we can possibly direct it to last.
Beautiful.
Okay, thank you for that, Grace. We have noted this issue and it has since been resolved. And also, we advise the taxpayers that the issue of elderly person's credit is determined by the date of birth in the system. So the system will automatically pick the elderly person's credit from the system based on the date of birth of the taxpayer. Thank you.
Oh, great. Thank you again, Mr. Makusha, for taking that one. I believe this is the fourth question that we will be dealing with. Quite a kind person that has sent us a message. They start by greeting us, says good afternoon. It's actually good morning, but thank you for that. Good afternoon. The system does not work. As soon as you click on download the PAYE template, it kicks us out. Please advise.
To me, that sounds like a connectivity challenge, because most of our taxpayers have managed to submit their returns for January, and some have already started submitting their returns for February. So it seems like a connectivity issue, because submission has been going on. I advise to find strong network and try to download the PAYE template and re-upload it after filling it. I'm sure you'll be able to submit the return.
No, thank you. Thank you so much, Marcia. And this is quite a long one. I beg you, my dear experts, to bear with me as I read it out. It's quite a long one. It says, another day spent with a module that has been rolled out by ZIMRA that has not been fully tested. I guess we're the test subjects. Can't update employee data, employees listed that have never been registered, can't download template systems, and logs you out. No option to submit a return for a company that is registered for PAYE but does not run a payroll. Employment start dates on the system reflect the registration date on terms, being the initial registration for employment TIN that we did in February 2024. Why is it rolled out if it has not been tested? That's the $1 million question.
Okay, thank you for the question, Mr. Dob. This module was rolled out effective January 2025, and we tested the system very well, and we trained all the taxpayers together with the tax agents and payroll administrators before we rolled out this module. And also the taxpayers should be able to submit the return if they follow all the steps that we shared. We provided the employee management guidelines, and we distributed them to the taxpayers on our various social media platforms. those taxpayers who do not have employees should deregister, as they do not require this tax type. They can always register when they have employees, and the system does not default the employment start date. It is the employer who enters that date. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. I believe that really answers the $1 million question. Well, it seems like $1 million is trending these days. I don't know if you guys $1 million. Well, another kind person. We have a lot of kind taxpayers. They really have a good way of saying it, although we have a few that are asking the $1 million question. Thanks for the path, firstly. But I seem to have challenges. After uploading employees and go to tax return, it says no employees uploaded. Please upload employees. Where did I go wrong? Probably maybe they had something gone wrong, or maybe it's a network issue. What could it be?
Okay, so we have two ways that you can upload your employees. You can either go manual or you can go the automatic way. So manually you have to add one taxpayer after another, and when you're uploading you're going to use the template and you're going to put all your employees on the template and use the upload function. So after uploading the employees, I see this person goes to the tax return. They may be skipping some stages there. So once you upload your employees, you can refresh the page, and after refreshing the page, you will note that the list of all the uploaded employees will be on the bottom part of the page. So if you're satisfied with the number of the employees that you have uploaded, on the same page, you go to the top right corner which says generate employee incomes. So once you click on that and fill in the pop-up tab, the page will automatically redirect you to the earnings page. On the earnings page is where you're going to enter all the earnings for your employees. We also have a manual way of uploading the employees. If you have a few employees, you could choose to do it one by one. But if you have many employees, you can also download another template there, the earnings template, and you can put the earnings on the earnings template using the upload function. So from the employees page to the earnings page, after submitting your earnings, you will see the calculations. They will auto-populate on that page. And if you're satisfied, this is where you go to the return now. You go to the return, to tax return management, you go to the pending return, and then you click on the pending return, then you submit the return. When you submit the return, you're only going to choose the currency on that page because the figures are already there. You just click on submit. So I think this person might have been skipping a couple of stages. There is a shared template on how you can submit the return. You can find it on even from your license officer, from your tax office, or wherever your contact person is. It's available.
Oh, great. Thank you for elaborating that clearly. And we have a dear taxpayer who is kindly asking for an email for tax clearance of nurses working in the government sector. How could they possibly be assisted?
They can, I would say that depends on the region that the person is. For those in Harare, they can use R1 SCO help desk 2 at ZIMRA.co.zw. But we also have a contact center, and they can as well use the contact center email address, which is contactcenter@zimra.co.zw. And then that application will be directed to the right region, and then they will get assistance from there. Thank you.
Great. Contact center at zimra.co.zw, and then you will get a redirection depending on the region that you are. We hope that answers your question. And there is a question again which says, please advise how to add employees that already have TIN numbers. There does not seem to be a facility for this. Is there not a facility, or can they just not find it?
All right. The option is there. to add an employee who already has a taxpayer identification number, because we are looking at someone who is employed but previously was registered as an individual in trade. So they are already in the ZIMRA database. They already have a taxpayer identification number. So if you have an employee who has been previously registered with ZIMRA as a taxpayer or as a person, individual in trade, and they already have a team, if you go to the employees page, you'll find there's an option to add employee by TIN number. So you can just click on that and enter their details, enter their taxpayer identification number, and you'll be good to go.
Thank you so much. It seems like that one is easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Well, someone else is failing to do anything on the SSP. They're saying that it logs them out, but that it's nothing else from there. It doesn't seem like it's working. May you please advise them on what they might do if they are being logged out by the SSP?
Okay, this must be a connectivity issue again. We advise the taxpayer to refresh their browsers, and also if the taxpayer continue facing the same challenges, they can make use of our kiosks. We have our officers there who can be able to assist them. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Makusha. And let's assume that someone has a company and the company does not have any employees. How do they update a new return for January 2025?
Okay, so thank you for that question. First of all, if a company does not have any employees, they are not required to register for PAYE. But we have taxpayers who were previously registered for PAYE when they had employees, and now they don't have employees anymore. So for cases like that, the public officer will temporarily register themselves as an employee to enable the submission of the pending returns. So they are going to register themselves and get a taxpayer identification number, and they will upload earnings as 0, and they'll be able to submit their pending returns for PAYE. So once that is done, they will need to proceed and apply for deregistration of PAYE, because they do not definitely require PAYE as a tax type if they do not have any employees.
Okay, so the finality of it is they eventually have to deregister on PAYE. PAYE is too much, and you're reaping everything, leaving the employee with nothing, says the taxpayer. This is quite an interesting one.
For pay as you earn, that's your PAYE. It's actually calculated based on the tax tables, which tax tables are also extracted from the tax bands that would have been issued or gazetted. So you find that they depend on how much the employee is earning, and those tax tables are actually reviewed from time to time. Like for example, the 2025 tax tables for employees who are remunerated in ZIG were reviewed upwards. So you find that there's a band that is also tax-free. For example, for those who are earning in ZIG, it's currently at 2,800 per month. So for those employees who are remunerated at 2,800 per month, they are not charged any pay as you earn. And then for those who are exceeding, you find that the first 2,800 will not be subjected to any tax. So that's basically how pay as you earn is works. So possibly for those who are taxed much, as it says, it's pay as you earn, they are also earning much, and that's basically how pay as you earn works. Thank you.
Thank you for elaborating that, Grace. So ZIMRA is not reaping from employees, it's only calculated based on the tax tables that are available, just as Grace has explained here. Someone is asking for a demo video for pay-as-you-earn submission of return. The question reads and says, ZIMRA, may you kindly prepare a demo video for pay submission of return?
Yes, that is a very good suggestion, and the production of the video is already in progress. So once it is done, ZIMRA will share the video on its social media platforms. Thank you.
Great. So there you have it, very soon on this page that you're watching this live on, which is Zimbabwe Revenue Authority, ZIMRA. The blue badge, don't forget that one, it's important so that you get actual page. We will be posting the videos very soon, and you will get a demonstration on how to do, how you want to go about it. It is pay charged on volunteers. They are people who are employed but are offering their services as volunteers. Are they charged pay as you earn?
Thank you for that question. I think, like I said, pay as you earn depends on how much the person earns. So if those volunteers are actually given some form of remuneration, and that remuneration exceeds, because remember earlier on I mentioned of the 2,800 if it's in ZIG, if it's in USD, it's actually $100. So if those volunteers are getting remuneration that is more than, if it's in USD, if it's more than $100 US, then it means pay as you earn will be charged. The same goes also if they are earning remuneration which is more than 2,800 in ZIG, they are also supposed to be charged pay as you earn. So it then depends on how much they are getting, if they are getting anything at all, because we say they are volunteers. So it depends on whether they are getting anything. If they are, how much they are getting. Yes, thank you.
Great. So I think in essence what Grace is saying here is it doesn't necessarily matter on your kind of employment or your form of employment. What really matters is if you are getting taxable remuneration. If you're getting taxable remuneration, then you're liable to tax. But if you are not, then you are not taxed on anything. And maybe we'll take a couple of more questions, maybe 3, 4, then take a quick break. Then when we come back, we will be reviewing some of the questions that are in our comment section today. One of the questions that I have before we go for break is, how are we going to register employees who do not have IDs? I hesitated reading that, but well, it's written here, how do we register employees who do not have IDs?
Okay, so every citizen of Zimbabwe should have a national ID. It's their identification, it's who they are. So if someone is employing a person without a national ID, they should encourage their employees to get one. Because our system is integrated with the civil registry. So what we have in the system is verified by the civil registry database. So whenever you enter your ID number, it's also verified with the civil registry database, so that we know that it's actually you. So the system cannot register anyone without an ID. But for foreigners, if you're employing foreigners that do not have a Zimbabwe national ID, they can use their passport number to register.
Thank you so much for that, Marcia. I told you I quite hesitated reading out the question because I was wondering how one could eventually get employed without a national identification card. But if it ever happens that you have employees who do not have national IDs, just like Marcia said, encourage them that they may get a national identification. Someone complains and says the system keeps crashing, and now they're asking if they are ever going to get an extension.
Okay, thank you for the question, Mr. Idol. We experienced this challenge when we rolled out the employee management module. The taxpayers a number of taxpayers failed to submit their January 2025 pay return, and an extension of the due date was granted up to 15 February 2025. And further extensions will be done on a case-by-case. And also, now the system is now working perfectly well. and number of complaints or queries have been reduced recently. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Mr. Makusha. And I have a question. I'd like to believe that Mr. Makusha has tackled this question before, but well, we'll just hear it out and then you just reiterate what you have already said, Mr. Makusha. The question is, your system is showing an error message which is saying no employees added, yet all employees have been entered in the system with all earnings.
Okay, I'll take that.
Sure.
Like Mr. Makusha has already said, when the module was rolled out initially, there were challenges, and an extension was given to cater for people who were failing to submit their returns. But now the issue has been resolved, and no one is facing challenges anymore.
Great. So issue has been resolved, and you should not be facing any challenges as of now going forwards. This question will be the last of this response before we take a short break, and then when we come back from the break, we'll also be attempting questions that you have posted in our comment section. You are watching this live broadcast on the Zimbabwe Revenue Authority Facebook page, and you're also capable of watching it on the Star FM Zimbabwe Facebook page. My name is Mr. Dobby, and with me here is Grace, Masha, and Last. These are well-able experts who are ready to tackle any questions that you might have on domestic taxes. So if you have a domestic tax related issue, please kindly post it in our comment section, and we'll look at it and you'll get a befitting response. We just kindly ask you to be kind with your words. We're also trying to be kind with our words. We are ZIMRA. We're here to serve. Here is the last question before we take a quick break. The earnings have been uploaded, but when we go to the pay-as-you-earn return, it is saying no registered employees. The question seems to come in.
Okay, thank you for the question again. This taxpayer seems to have skipped another stage. The taxpayer has proceeded to create earnings before registering the employees. So that is where the challenge is coming from. So we advise the taxpayers to follow through all the stages as provided for in the guidelines we shared with them. Thank you.
Great. And with that, we will take a short break. When we come back, please stay tuned, stay on this live, and also go through some of the questions that fellow taxpayers are posting in our comment section. And if you are just watching, if you've started watching now, this video will also be available on this platform, the Zimbabwe Revenue Authority Facebook page, so that you can start from where we started from. Maybe you have a question similar to what someone else asked earlier, and you might find it useful to get through with the answers that have been given already. We are ZIMRA. We are here to serve. We'll be back shortly. Hello, thank you very much for bearing with us, and welcome back to this live broadcast by the Zimbabwe Revenue Authority. My name is Mr. Dobie, and with me I have a very perfect team ready to tackle your questions. Experts in domestic taxes. On my right here, I have Grace, beautiful Grace, and on my immediate left, I have beautiful Marcia, and then I have the gentleman, the handsome one, last, who also carries a bald head like myself. You see, real gentlemen have bald heads. Thank you very much for being with us and bearing with us. We've been collecting some of the questions that you have been typing out in our comment section on the both pages that we are broadcasting this live from. We are live on the Zimbabwe Revenue Authority Facebook page, and if you are here, thank you very much for being with us. And we also took questions from another page that we're broadcasting from, which is the Star FM Zimbabwe Facebook page. Let me start by saying hello to these few people I have managed to take down. If I've skipped your name, please bear with me. There were quite a number of names. I just had to randomly pick some. I'll start to say hello to Megan Lee Ralston. Thank you very much. We saw your questions that you were asking. They're going to be attended to. Thank you very much to Letwin Spanera Mutingwende. We appreciate you for being here. We also appreciate Godfrey Hungwe for being here. Tanaka Vitalis, we see you. Thank you so much. As well as Jamin ZW. Pardon me if I have not pronounced your name right, Jamin. And I also see the presence of Rumbizi Hoya Gwandu. Shout out to you, ma'am. And also to Lloyd Shumba. We are taking note of everything that you're saying. We appreciate you for being here. Well, these are some of the questions that have been asked. I'll start with the ones that we picked out from the Star FM page. There's a question that says, thank you for the program. I have a challenge that if I apply to be a registered taxpayer, ZIMRA hardly approves in the system. We find ourselves having to visit the offices for us to get approval.
Okay, thank you for that question. Taxpayers who have applied for registration and feel that approval has been delayed, these taxpayers are free to send an email to our contact center stating the DRN of their application. The email address for the contact center is contactcenter@zimra.co.zw. It's CONTACT center, it's CENTRE@zimra.co.zw. They can also make a follow-up via our contact center. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you, Mr. Makusha. And just in the light of Mr. Makusha mentioning the contact center email address, which is contactcenter@zimra.co.zw, here also other ways and means that you can get hold of ZIMRA for any queries and concerns. You can get hold of our WhatsApp line and also follow our WhatsApp channel. The WhatsApp number is 0782 729 862. And our toll-free number is 585. But if you're using a Net1 line, we also have a toll-free Net1 number. You call on 0801 0271. I'll repeat that, 0801 0271. And just like Mr. Makusha said, our email address, contactcenter@zimra.co.zw. Now on to the next question. How do we remove an employee who has been duplicated in the system? Maybe Marsha could take that.
All right. So all duplicates have already been taken care of. They were a result of incorrect uploads that were done by taxpayers, where the format of the ID number was incorrect. So the moment you entered another ID, the same ID number with a different format, it would create a duplicate. But they have since been taken care of. And if you still have any duplicates, you can come through in data systems.
Great. Now, Masha, when you were explaining that, you also mentioned that maybe someone might have created a duplicate when they were trying to edit details. And let's say, for example, someone has entered the wrong kind of details, or maybe they've missed out a digit. how do they get to edit that? Because we have a question here that says, can you please explain how to edit an employee that has been entered? There is a figure that has been transposed in the employee's ID number.
Okay, thank you for the question. When the taxpayer is logged on their SSP platform, they click on the employee's employee management module, then click on employee submenu. Then on search results, there is an edit icon under actions. That is where the taxpayers click and update their details on that interface. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Makusha. The return is giving an error message indicating employees have it's been registered, although all this has already been done. Can ZIMRA please be considerate when introducing last-minute changes? Give adequate notice and roll out training well before. An extension of time is in order for these returns, please.
All right. So as mentioned earlier, all issues with PAYE submission have been resolved, and an extension was already granted for the January return, and also with notice and rolling out of training, that was also done well before the implementation and the implementation of the employee management module, and well before it was put into production. Training was done for taxpayers, for tax officers, and for payroll administrators. So we were considerate enough to give the extension for those who were struggling to submit, and as of now, all issues have been resolved.
No, thank you. Thank you for that. A taxpayer is failing to edit employment end date to remove an employee. They're saying the system doesn't save when you edit employment end date. What could be the problem?
This also sounds like a connectivity problem, and whoever is doing this must ensure that they're inputting the end date, which is the same as the start date, in order to terminate that employee, and they should ensure that they save after, because we are not having any challenges like that in.
Great. Thank you so much, Masha. And to our dear taxpayer who was asking the question about a provision of a step-by-step process that everyone can understand and that is easy to follow. If you were with us from when we started, then you already know that there's a video in the process of being produced right now. But if you're hearing this for the first time, then here is a heads up. As ZIMRA, we are working on the production of a demonstration video where you can follow through on how to make use of the system. The guidance is going to be very easy. It's going to be very simple so that everyone can get an understanding of how to get by. And as we go on with the questions, there is a calculation question here. I believe I'm not the only one who finds numbers quite daunting. I don't like numbers too much. So calculation here zig PAYE ayendrane ne tax table yandakaona for 2025. Could it be that this someone also is someone like me who finds numbers daunting, or is there something happening with the calculation? Grace?
Okay. I think this seems to be a specific question, because the person is talking of what they saw, which is not in line with the tax tables also that ZIMRA shared. So it's a specific question, and the person may actually need to provide specific details so that that issue can be checked into. So I think they can actually make use of the contact center that we mentioned before, to say they can actually submit their details in the contact center, and then that can be looked into, because it seems like it's to do with possibly it's the employee or it's the employer, but it's not necessarily an issue with ZIMRA or with the tax table. So this is a specific issue. They need to provide specific details so that we can look into it specifically.
Great. We provided earlier on, just now, details on how you can get hold of our contact center. We will repeat them again just quickly for your convenience. You can get hold of our contact center via email. That's contactcenter@zimra.co.zw, or better still, you can call us on our toll-free number, which is 585. Or if you want to get in touch with us on our WhatsApp platform and maybe also follow our WhatsApp channel, you can do so on these numbers I'll provide: +263 code for Zimbabwe 782 729 862. Or if you have a Net One line, you can make use of this number. You'll call free using this number if you are a Net One line user, which is 08010271. Thank you very much for bearing with us. Thank you very much for being part of this live broadcast. If you are engaging with us, it warms our hearts. We know that you are there as taxpayers and you're willing to hear more from what we have to share with you. This live broadcast continues for some more minutes whilst we tackle some of the questions that you have posted in the comments section. One of those questions says, are tax agents able to get rights to do the new pay-as-you-earn return?
Oh, thank you for that question. Yes, tax agents are able to do the new pay return, provided they've been granted the permissions by the public officer of that particular company. So in short, yes, they are able to do the pay return. Thank you.
Great. So yes, an agent can do a pay return. What rate must be used on the VAT return with regards to VAT on exports? The system provides options for 0%, 5%, and 15%.
For exports, actually, generally for exports, all exports are zero rated, but there are actually some exports, like when you export unbeneficiated lithium or cut or uncut dimensional stone, you know, those protected resources, there are different rates that are applicable there. So I would say it, if it's not 0%, then it then depends with the product that the person is exporting, to then say which rate would they particularly use. But if they are now saying this, if they are saying the system only provides options for 0%, 5%, and 15%, then that may be an issue that will probably we need to look into our system, because for the exportation of those unbeneficiated products, the rates they vary. Some are 5%, some 10, some 15. So we may need to look into the system to ensure that it provides options for all the rates that are applicable. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Grace. Thank you so much. What criteria does TAMS use when issuing tax clearance with different durations?
Okay, so you can get a tax clearance for a month, for 3 months, for 6 months, or for a year. Person who has been submitting returns for quite some time and making their payments, they're most likely, they're reflecting that they are trading and they're compliant, so they're most likely to get a longer tax clearance. But you should note that all tax clearance are system generated, so the system is just seeing from your submissions from your account and issuing a tax clearance.
Great. Thank you for a very clear explanation on there. Well, we're drawing towards the end of today's live broadcast, and today we've been talking about domestic taxes. We are ZIMRA. the Zimbabwe Revenue Authority, and we are here to serve. If you have any concern, if you have any question in regard to domestic taxes that you'd like answered, please post it in our comment section. We'll do due diligence to make sure we answer those questions with a team of experts here. Grace on my right, and on my immediate left I have Marsha, and on my far left I have Last. These two ladies and the gentlemen are ready to tackle any question that you have as regards to domestic taxes. Among the questions that we have received from you is a question which says, how do you claim input tax on VAT paid upon importation?
Okay, thank you. For a taxpayer to be able to claim VAT paid on importation, that taxpayer must be a registered VAT operator, and the imports must be used for taxable business activities. For you to be able to claim, there is certain documentation which is required. We need proof of VAT payment on entry into Zimbabwe. Then you also need to declare the import VAT as input tax, or you need to claim that VAT on the VAT 7 form. And also you need to keep all the documents for at least 6 years for ZIMRA to offset the input tax against the output tax. Thank you.
Well, thank you. I hope if you are one who wants to claim a tax on VAT paid upon importation, your question is well answered. The system is creating new TINs for employees with existing TINs. What could possibly be happening?
Okay, so this is a matter of duplicates, like we've mentioned earlier, that incorrect format on uploading employees of the ID number resulted in duplicates, but they have since been taken care of. And if there is a taxpayer who still has duplicates, maybe they need to give us the details so we can look into it.
So, well, like Marsha is saying, the issue was well resolved, but if you are still facing the same challenge that you are noticing duplicates, then get in contact. Customer services at contact center at zimra.co.zw. What is the process of law for acquiring a professional tax clearance?
Okay, thank you for that question. With regards to professionals, I would say they are self-employed professionals, and then there are also professionals who are employed. So for self-employed professionals, they are earning income from trade and investment, so they register. Just like other traders register. And then for those professionals who are employed, those would need to make an application to ZIMRA. They submit the form. I think the form can be downloadable from our website, and then they attach the confirmation letter from the employer, and then they attach together with the form, and then they submit to ZIMRA. So as part of our process also, we then check to see if the employee is registered. Now that employees are required to be registered, if the employee is registered, we then issue them with the clearance certificate. But if they are not registered, then we send them back to then regularize the registration with the employer. I think basically that's the process. And then for sending the applications, I think they can also use the contact center email that we have sent, contact center at zimra.co.zw.
Great. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Quite clear. Well, I have a question here which I am going to rephrase. I'd like to think that the taxpayer who sent this question maybe made an error in typing out their message. The original message that they sent us says, how do you delete omitted information on the employee management module? So if the information is omitted, you possibly cannot delete it because it's not there. So I think what they wanted to say is, how do you delete incorrect information on the employee management module?
All right. Truly, the question wasn't very clear. And I'm not very sure of what kind of information may have been omitted. But last month, talked about where you want to edit the employee's details, and you go to the employee's page, you click on the particular employee on the far right, you'll find an edit option, and you can amend whatever details you could have omitted. But if it's about earnings, maybe you submitted earnings and you had omitted particular maybe deductions, or I don't know what kind of information they could have omitted, and you have already uploaded, you can just download the template again, correct on the template in Excel, and then upload the template again. This is to do with earnings. And once you upload, the initial information you had uploaded will be overridden by the new upload. Now you have the new information with the correct calculations, and then you can proceed to submit the return.
So by that, will I be right to say if I had entered wrong information to start with on the employee management module, if I then re-enter new correct information like you're saying, it then overrides, I have no need for deleting anything, it just overrides the old wrong information?
Yes, that is correct.
Great. I believe if we have understood what you were trying to say here, the question has been well answered. Well, this is our possibly last question before we round up today's live broadcast here on the ZIMRA Facebook page as well as the staffing Facebook page. In the case of a taxpayer who has a liability on terms and does not have a bank account or has a closed bank account, how are they supposed to go about getting a tax clearance, given that banks require a tax clearance to issue a bank account and terms only accepts payment from the bank?
Okay, thank you for the question. Taxpayers should note that banks no longer require what we usually issued before, the bank advice notes, in order for someone to open a bank account. Taxpayers should take note that they are able to complete the TIN registration process before opening a bank account, and they are able to apply and download the tax clearance certificates for submission to the banks of their choice for account opening. Thank you.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you so much, Mr. Makusha. I appreciate you very much for that response. Well, this is it. Ladies and gentlemen, dear taxpayers, thank you very much for being in attendance of this live broadcast. We do this every now and again. It is our culture here at ZIMRA to every now and again give you information that is relatable, information that is useful to you as a taxpayer in different aspects of tax paying. Today we were particularly dealing with domestic taxes, and I had a panel, a very able panel, as you have noticed if you were following us from the beginning. On my right here I have Grace Amarumbwa, who is a technical services officer, and on my immediate left I have Masha Saraba, who is also a technical services officer but also works on the terms project, and on my far left I have Last Makusha, who is also on the terms project. This has been our team today, and thank you very much. If you have any more questions to ask, if you feel like, well, I've heard what you say, but maybe I came on the live broadcast a bit late, or maybe another question pops up later on, or maybe you face some other challenges later on after this live broadcast, please take hold and put these details down. Firstly, let's talk about WhatsApp, which seems to be quite a convenient option. If you want to get in touch with the Zimbabwe Revenue Authority via WhatsApp, this is the WhatsApp number: 0782 729 862. You can also use this WhatsApp number to follow our WhatsApp channel for details every now and again. You can also call us on our toll-free number. You don't need a time to call this number. It's 585. And if you are using a net1 line, you can also call us free of charge on 0801 0271. I'll repeat that again: 0801 0271. And via email, you can get in touch with us on contactcenter@zimra.co.zw. My name is Mr. Dobby. It's been quite a pleasure on hosting you on this live broadcast. Let's meet again some other time when you talk more about taxes. Aikona utika kuna chinotikisa, zvinotikisa zvese, zvinototikawo. Wona manje.